Hi, everyone. So, Mr. Nathan, he's going to be interviewed.
Hold on. Go ahead.
So, hi, everyone.
You can keep going.
Nathan here. He's being interviewed.
Allergy Nathan. Oh God.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm just going to.
Oh, by the way, I have no idea what she's going to ask me. So.
I'm just gonna spontaneously ask him questions. He's gonna eventually interview me, so it's time to interview him first.
I see this right here. I'm using these nose strips tonight. They're giving me bruises on my nose.
Anywho, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yes. Sorry. All right.
I'm doing the questions. No,
This better be a fast video because I'm not prepared to be answering my life away.
trust me, I got plenty of questions.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so the first question is, what would you say to single guys out there to prepare to be married?
Oh gosh, I have a lot to say to single guys. Okay, seriously, my honest, because we're gonna kind of rapid fire these, right?
Yeah.
This is what I would say to single men who are looking for their wife and want to be married. You need to have godly people in your life who quit it. I'm trying to answer. It's got to be quick. You need to make sure that you have a healthy view on what marriage actually is. And if you were raised in a household where you did not have... Sorry.
That's our cat.
Everything is distracting us. Our cat was just scratching the wall. Okay. You need to have a healthy understanding of what marriage actually is. And I think that you also need to really, really obviously build your relationship with God, but also focus on a lot of inner healing and growing in your emotional intelligence.
Ooh.
Because I'm not even saying just to understand the woman that you'll be pursuing, but really to understand your relationship and your marriage as a whole. If you do those two things, and I would just say seek godly counsel, someone that you trust, people that you trust who will not be biased towards you and just be like, hey, let's get a healthy view on marriage here. And then just going through a process with God to get healing in your soul so that you're not carrying as much baggage as most of us usually carry in a marriage.
That's good.
Next question.
That's good. Wow. So the other question I was actually going to ask was about emotional intelligence. What would you define emotional intelligence as?
I define it as two things. I would define it as being self-aware and also being aware of your spouse's needs. I mean, in terms of marriage, right?
Yes.
Being aware of self-aware of your own strengths and weaknesses and vice versa with your spouse. And knowing your role in marriage and understanding what marriage actually is, that it's not some fantastical the way you make me feel is just so incredible, but it's like laying your life down for each other type thing. So
that's good.
But yeah, emotional awareness or emotional intelligence, really self-awareness, and then growing in your awareness of the other person's needs and stuff.
That's good.
Keep it coming. We got time for a few more things.
Yeah, we got this. Okay, so eventually I'd like for you to interview me if you'd like. But
next video will be Clarissa getting interviewed.
Yeah.
After this one.
We'll see. No.
Probably. Maybe. I don't know.
The next question I would ask you is, what would you do
for a Klondike bar?
No. This is a hypothetical question once again. What would you do if you had to? Okay, so yeah, let me put.
We're not prepared for this.
No, we're not. I'm just going to go.
We just literally clicked record.
So, what do you do in a situation where somebody is putting down your wife, and you love that person, and it's a family member, and they're calling your wife names or just putting her down, even if it's overt or covert? What would you do in that situation?
Oh gosh, sorry, allergies. Okay, yeah. The old Nathan would just be quiet and passive. I'm actually not even kidding. The old Nathan would be quiet and passive. But
speaking from experience.
Now, yeah, 100%. But so what I would do in a situation where my wife is being publicly put down and it's right in front of my face, maybe it's in like a
Even if
corporate
it's not
gathering sense,
publicly, I mean.
even if it's privately, yeah. I think that one of the most important things to do is confront that behavior, and you can do it in a loving way. Like Clarissa said, if whether the behavior is like covert or overt, like whether it's very in your face or very like subconscious, like let me do this very subtly type thing. I just think you have, first of all, have to be really discerning to even recognize that it's going on, and then you also have to understand the priority of like defending your spouse. Not just for the sake of their emotional well-being, because yes, it's that, but it's also for the sake of trust in your marriage. And so practically, like what I would actually do in that situation, I know that I don't exactly have the context of what the person would be saying, but I think that I would reverse whatever they're saying that's negative by praising my wife.
That's
and then
good.
also defending the integrity of our relationship,
Ooh.
and even the things that she's helped me in. Like, honestly, talk your wife up, like, because you should be, there should never be a context where you are diminishing your wife's value or to anyone, I mean, let alone in your, even in your own thinking, but like, you shouldn't be in your group of guy friends talking about how annoying your wife is. You should be talking about how she's your best friend, and like like defend the covenant that you literally decided to, honor for the rest of your life.
That's
So
good. Wow.
yeah, I guess I didn't know exactly how to say that, but I would confront the behavior, I'd talk my wife up, and then if it continued, I would just exit the conversation with my wife. And if we had to leave, we would leave too. But
Thank you, baby.
all right, I think we have time for one or two, but probably just one more question.
Okay, so I'll ask this question. Okay, it's about sex.
That's it for life. All right.
Okay, so when it comes to like sexual intimacy with men, how would you tell them to like approach sex? Just point blank. I'm gonna go check on the baby real quick.
Okay. All right, guys. Brief intermission's over. Baby MB is here and ready to not understand what we're talking about. Thank God, because we're talking about sex. But now she can hear. She doesn't even know what words are. So, Clarissa's question was, how would I? What was it again?
How would you approach sex when you're newly married?
As a man.
And also, I would say how yeah, I'll ask that question after.
Okay. So I think that how to approach sex as a man in marriage is, and I think that it goes for the same as women actually, is to not think that marriage encompasses, or sorry, that sex in marriage only encompasses the way you feel intimately connected with your spouse. And what I mean by that is, men are like very physically driven while women are more emotionally driven in intimacy. So I think that understanding that it's not just like for the sensation of, pleasure and feeling good, but it's for the sake of connection. So come at it in a way where it is building selfless, very selfless, and building in a way that's building your connection and your relationship and your intimacy with each other. Because it goes beyond a physical act. Like, it's literally, it's tying your souls to, it's knitting you guys together in a way where that's only supposed to be between you and your spouse. So I would just say, for men, you need to try to come to the topic of sex with the idea of how do I say, like, meeting your wife's needs.
Yeah, just say it.
Well, meeting your wife's needs, because most like this happens in a lot of marriages, is the wife's needs just don't get met physically, but it's because they're not getting met emotionally as well.
Oh wow.
So I think that, like, we talked about this in a previous video, but if your wife isn't wanting sex with you, it's probably because you are emotionally distant. Like, you're probably just emotionally unaware and unavailable, and you, again, we're going back to emotional intelligence, but
yeah.
but you have to understand her. Like, the Bible literally says, dwell with your wives according to understanding, according to knowledge, some different translations. So that's what I would say. Dwell with her in that way. Dwell. You know what
Well,
I'm saying? So hopefully that helps. But all right, you have time for one last question.
Okay.
This video is getting longer than we expected. One
Well,
more.
Is it a sin to play video games if you're married and have kids?
Okay, okay.
That's how I'm gonna put it.
I will say anything is a sin if it's out of prioritized order.
Ooh.
But it also comes down to your convictions. But I will say, when you're married, especially when you're married and have children, but even when you're just married, you really shouldn't even have time for video games because there's just the biggest thing about it is it's a distraction. And it also is I've even seen it be so bad to the point where it becomes this vicarious way of living for men where they're trying to play out their fantasies on a video game with their boys every day. And it's like,
is there a time and place for video games and fun though?
Yeah. I mean, like, if I were to go over to my cousin's house right now and he was like, yo, want to go play the game? I'll play the game for a little bit. I'm hanging out with the boys. But it's not like I'm literally, I don't even own a game console. It's not like I'm getting on, turning the TV on, we're hopping into whatever game and we're playing for hours and hours and hours and hours while my wife is taking care of an entire house and baby. You know, that's where it's like unacceptable. So I would say that I don't necessarily think it's a sin, depending on the situation. It's down to your conviction and where you're at in life. Like, would I say that it was a sin that I played video games when I was 18 and single? No. But would I say that it's a sin now? I mean, the Bible says that...
Disobedience?
Well, and what does the Bible say? It says that a man who doesn't provide for his family is worse than an unbeliever. So...
Would you say that that goes as far as not just being financial? Like, when it comes to, like, providing for your family?
I mean, I think that that's mostly what it's talking about. Yeah. But... that can be something where you get into lethargy and complacency, and now you don't get, you know, some dudes are at the place where they're not getting jobs and they're playing video games all day, you know.
Wow.
And they're spending money on those games that they don't have. So,
well, what would you say to them, like, to encourage them right now?
I would say just be okay with getting out of your comfort zone, and you, like, just be okay with the fact that, like, as a man, I can say to you, like, you would just need a reality check. Like, no, seriously, because I wish people would have said this kind of stuff to me, But yeah, if you need a reality check, just get one. Choose to grow up. It's a choice. Like, and I'll say this.
Man to man.
I'll say this. Years ago, I had my gaming console before I even was reconnected to Clarissa, and I remember the Lord speaking very clearly to me the scripture somewhere, and I don't remember what book of the Bible, but it's Paul that says, he says, when I
became a man, I put away.
Yes, when I was a child, I spake as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. So, yeah, when you become a man, you put away childish things, aka video games.
Ooh.
Or being addicted to them and playing them constantly.
Being addicted to them, basically.
Play them every now and then, that's a little okay. But
or just like being as a family and like playing with your wife is fine.
Yeah,
like
building a relationship.
Yeah. That's good, babe.
Well, that's been all with Interview Nathan time, because now the baby is just going crazy.
Interview Amberlynn.
All right, guys. Next time, Clarissa's gonna get interviewed. This was completely spontaneous. Hopefully you liked it. I don't know, but we love you guys.
We love you guys.
Thanks for coming along on the attorney journey. We'll see you in the next one when Clarissa answers Daddy Nathan's questions.
Oh my goodness.
Daddy Nathan to MB. Anyways, love you guys.
You had to preface.
Bye.